Hello and welcome to today's Brenau University webinar, Your Online Dream Team. Thanks everybody for joining us today. So just really quick, I'm just going to give you the lay of the land. My name is Dave and I'm going to be hosting today. So just a quick note, we're actually going to watch a recording of a previously broadcast webinar around the same topic, but the information is still going to be the same. We're going to meet members of the Brenau Online Support Team. They're going to explain their roles as well as the roles of other people on the team and how they support you as you progress toward your online degree at Brenau. Each one of these team members has a unique role and a unique perspective to bring. And so you're going to learn about each of those team members, how you can get a hold of them and what they can do to support you. We are going to have a live Q&A session with members of the team. And so at any time during the presentation today, you can click that Q&A icon on your screen and send us a question. You don't have to wait for the Q&A portion to ask your question, and we'll take some time at the end and make sure that we address those. And so with that, I'll get the video going here, and then about 20 minutes from now, we'll start on the live Q&A. So thank you again for joining us, and with that, I'll get the video going. We've got Shay, Lambson, and Amanda Mazur, two great members of our Brenau Success team. Shay is an enrollment manager. She has about 13 total years experience in higher ed, and in addition to her higher ed experience and helping students in that way, she has a lot of teaching experience as well. She's taught dance, she's taught special ed, she's taught in the 3rd grade, so lots of varied educational experience helping lots of different types of learners, and so she is a great person to have in that role. So Shay, glad to have you here. And Amanda Mazur, our Success Coach Manager at Brenau University. If you've never heard of a Success Coach before, you'll find out what that means here a little bit later. 10 plus years in higher ed for Amanda. She also has her master's degree in adult education and training. So she is particularly helpful for adult students, people who are coming back to school after some time. That's really her forte. So she is in a great role to do that. Another thing I want to point out is that both of these women, in addition to their professional experience in higher education, have also earned degrees as online students. And so not only can they speak professionally to your situation, they can relate to you personally. They can have empathy for the types of questions and the types of things that you will go through throughout your Brenau Online journey. And that's the case of many, many members of the Brenau Online support team that you are going to learn about today. So with that, I am going to kick it to Shay to get us started to talk about her role as an enrollment coach. So Shay.
Hi, thank you so much. So everyone, thank you for coming. We appreciate you joining us and learning a little bit more about what we do and how we support you through a really lengthy time commitment. As you know, education is a time commitment. It's a financial commitment, and it's not just a commitment for you, but it's a commitment for your families as well. And so what we've done is really tried to structure our support in a way that will help you get to graduation, and not just graduation. We want to help you get started. We want to help you identify the right program. And that's kind of where the enrollment coach comes in. When you call in, you get someone on the phone, and the very first thing that you should feel is a sense of exploration from your coach. We want to know what you want to do. What are you trying to accomplish? What job are you trying to get in the future? What's the ultimate goal? You know, it's funny. I tell my team, nobody goes to school just to go to school. We go to school because we want a job. We want to make more money. We want to support our families. We want to buy the house we've never got to live in, right? And there's all these facets that come into making that decision for school. And what we want to do is find out what they are so that we can connect you with the right program that's going to help you achieve those goals. Now, we have a lot of programs. If you've gone onto our website, you see a whole long list. And so what we do is we try to connect you based on what you've said with the right one, all right? And then kind of let you know what we got to do to get there. And that starts very first thing with getting your application done and your admissions process. Admissions into the university can be a little tricky. There's a lot of forms. There are different things that you might need to get, but one of the most important is starting with your transcripts and getting your application on file. And so they will break it down, let you know every step of the process, really smooth it out for you. And the goal is that this is a minimal time frame in your week, right? We're making it as simple as we can in a complex environment, because it is a little bit complex to get into school. There's forms, your deadlines, there's all sorts of fun stuff. We'll take it even a step further for you and help you outline how you're going to pay for your schooling and what you might need to gather as far as forms, filling out your FAFSA, if you need additional paperwork. That's our goal. We want to make you connected with the admissions process, give you every update in a timely fashion, work with you to get you to your personal goals, and really hopefully make the process as seamless as we can. Doesn't always work that way. Sometimes there's tricky loops and there's international transcripts and fun stuff that we, even as enrollment coach, can struggle to try to get around and work through. But we do a lot of research for our students, and we care a lot about what you're going to school for. And so we put that time in to help you kind of jive it out and figure out what you got to do. So that's a little bit about the enrollment coach team, but we also have a very particular team, which is our transcript specialist. Now, our transcript specialists help to collect transfer credits for you to finish faster. So if you're an adult learner, if you were anything like me, I was like this. I went to a school in Utah. I went to a school in Arizona. I went to 2 different schools in Arizona, actually. I went to a school that was a foreign school in Canada. So I had a lot of transcripts kind of spread all over the place. Well, when we go to complete your admissions file, we want to evaluate those credits. Transferring even one class from a school that you've attended previously will save you a tremendous amount of time and money. And as adults, those, I think, are the number 2 things we always want, right? We want time and we want money. And so transferring those credits helps us reduce the cost of your program and the time it's going to take to complete your program. Now, financial aid also looks at transcripts that you've attended previously. So what we do at Brenau is we try to collect all transcripts from every school that you've ever attended so that we can reduce the time and cost, right? But also prepare you for maybe additional documents that financial aid might need if you were selected for what's called a C code. And so it kind of deals with 2 different facets. If you're in one of our lovely education programs, there's even more requirements along the transcripts that you have and what you might need to collect in order to get a license in Georgia. And so Brenau aligns with these different industries to, again, really try to make it smooth for you. Here's the nice thing about getting transcripts. First off, if you're thinking about going to school, get an application, get your transcripts ordered. We're in the middle of a pandemic that has slowed things a little bit for us and getting those transcripts. Schools are closed, high schools are closed, all sorts of fun stuff's happening right now as we adjust to whatever this new norm is, right? But it does take a little bit time to get. And they can be a little bit tricky. You might have applied to a school previously and not really attended, so maybe you need to get a letter from the school. And we try to do our best to, 1, order them for you anytime that we can. And as a courtesy to our students, we like you guys a lot, so we pay for the transcript. Anytime that we can, we try to pay for those transcripts. The second thing we do is if we can't pay for the transcript, we attempt to reimburse you for the transcript. The only thing that we can't pay for or reimburse is international transcript evaluations. That's one that's a little bit tricky, but we try to connect you with the right institution that will allow you to get to where you want to go, okay? Whether it be teaching license, accounting, there's different requirements. And so we do want you to have those right institutes, if you will, that can look at those transfer credits. Keep in mind, your enrollment coaches will probably tell you this, but feel free to mention it. right? If you're ordering your transcripts and you have what's called a student order only, or you have to have responsibility for collecting that transcript, we'll reimburse you the transcript. Even if you rush order it, we will reimburse it, right? It can take anywhere from 2 to 6 weeks to get transcripts, depending on where we're ordering them from. And so we'll often work with you. We'll call you, get you on the phone, walk you through it, give you instructions. I mean, we'll even share screens for you if you need to kind of make that a little bit simpler. But it is a little bit complicated and it does take some time. So anyone who wants to go, that's one of your first things that you want to get done. All right. Now, after your transcripts have been ordered, after you've finished all of your admissions documents, the number one question we get from students is financial aid, right? Who helps me with my financial aid, and which department is going to package me? How do I get my funding? So what we have here is an entire department that's dedicated to you as a student. You don't have an individual person. However, you will often work with someone. If you're an undergrad, you may have an undergrad financial aid advisor. If you're a graduate, you might have a graduate financial aid advisor. But we have 8 full-time staff that support our graduate and transfer students, which is pretty nice for you. We also have a policy that if you just want to call and you want to talk to someone, they will get back to you on a personal basis, and you're welcome to set up appointments with them as well. If you're, you know, like most of us, we're working full time, right? Kids all over the place, and we've got odd hours. We try to do our best to really align with you and get you connected to the financial aid department. Now, what they can do is they are going to offer some advice. They're going to talk to you about your borrowing options. We really love smart borrowing here, which means you're just kind of doing it the right way, right? Not taking out too many loans, but enough to cover your schooling. We talk about money management and how to guide you through repayment if you need to. But then we also help you make sure that you have all the documents for FAFSA. And FAFSA consists of multiple steps. You have your FAFSA for the right aid year, and you can fill out a couple of aid years at one time. Then you have your MPN, your entrance counseling, and then you also have something called verification, which is a random selection that happens to students. And your enrollment coaches can guide you to how and where to complete those documents, but the financial aid department will explain those documents, and they'll work with you to make sure that what you have submitted suffices the financial aid requirement so that you as a student can get your financial aid. Financial aid is an interesting beast, if you will. If you went to school way back when, like I did, you used to get financial aid money right up front. It's not like that anymore. You go through the steps, you complete all of the documents, the necessary documents, and then what they want to see is that you have registered for classes so that they can certify you based on how many classes you're attending. So you often do not see any money before you start school. What you're going to see is probably about a month into school is when you're packaged and you finally receive what's called access funding, if you have access funding, or that financial aid comes onto your account. Now, it's important to know you aren't going to have that right up front in most cases if you're using financial aid. But as a team and as a very compassionate institution, we really love to be able to support you. And so if you do need help with books, if you need assistance in those in kind of that upfront cost, we can kind of help out. We can do some things to really get you in a good position with it. So the good news is financial aid is really fast at getting you all your documents collected. As long as your documents are collected and we don't have any glaring issues or C codes, if you're not, a convicted felon, drug felon, something like that, typically you are qualified for your financial aid loans. Okay, so it's a pretty easy formula, and we can kind of get a good glance whether you are sitting in a good position or maybe you need to get an additional document. But we often don't see people denied if you aren't, unless you're making about $1 million. And if you are, I'm not sure why you're using financial aid or having a drug conviction, right? Those two things can kind of get in the way, but we will have those discussions with you, and the financial aid department will as well. So if you have any questions or concerns about your eligibility, they can go over those parameters with you and help you really identify what will and what won't qualify you or disqualify you for your funding. And if you are, and you're in good standing, I want you to sit back and take a deep breath and relax, because I know it's most stressful for students, but we've got your back. We're here for you, and we're here to advise you as best as we possibly can. Now, I want to take a brief minute and just flash on the screen, David, if you will, the contact information for our financial department. I love our department. Call, leave a message, email. Please keep in mind, it is our busiest time of year. August is very traditional start, and we got a lot going on. So the best thing you can do is work with your enrollment coach to have all documents in place. We're right now in the process of packaging and getting everything sent over to financial aid to cut checks for the fall. So we're kind of in the middle of that. The key thing you guys all want to work towards doing is accepting your award. Okay, so once you're packaged, once we've done what we need to, you will need to still accept your award. That's a really vital point. You can't get any money if you don't do it. So they cut you kind of the number of what you might qualify for, and then tell you, hey, do you want to accept this or not? And you have a choice to say, yes, I want to accept, or I don't want to accept. But that acceptance is really important. So if you haven't taken down this information, I suggest you take it, have it with you. They're wonderful. They do a really great job at getting back to you. And if you're feeling like any pieces are missing, your enrollment coaches can absolutely step in as well.
And Shay, just as a heads up, I have put that information in the chat as well. So you're welcome to copy paste it out of the chat so you can access that or do a screen grab or whatever it is, multiple places for you to get that information.
Excellent, excellent. So this is all done kind of on the front end, right, guys? We've talked about how to get in, how to order your transcripts, how to collect all your documents for financial aid. We do something also to support our students on the back end, and we have several different resources, but one of my favorite is our success coaches. And from here, we actually have our success coach, Amanda Mazur. She works with our team and all students that begin an adult program with us. And so I'm going to turn it over to her and let her explain some of these resources for you.
Thanks, Shay. Good afternoon. So as Dave said, I manage the Success Coach team here at Brenau, and your Success Coach is really going to be here to cheer you on from day one to graduation. So we step in right as you've been admitted to the university. We'll start calling you, so you can expect us to start reaching out to introduce ourselves and go over our role here with you. And we also serve as your lean-on go-to person here at the university. I like to say we're a good main point of contact for you. Anything you need help with, please feel free to reach out to us. Even if we don't have the answer for you, we can always get you to the right department or get you the resources that you're looking for. We help with things like time management, support, and resources. We're also going to be reaching out to you regularly, so you can expect that we'll be reaching out to you weekly or bi-weekly, depending on how you're feeling and what kind of level of support you'd like from us. So you'll definitely be forming a good relationship with your success coach, and we'll be here to help with anything you need. You're also going to have a faculty advisor. And like your success coach, your faculty advisor is also going to be here to guide you through your program. We work heavily together. The faculty advisors are program experts that help you map out your courses and stay on track for graduation. They also can provide additional knowledge and support. They are going to be program experts. So depending on what program you choose, you'll have a faculty advisor that's a faculty member of that specific program. So they have a lot more academic knowledge. In addition to that, we have a lot of resources here at the university to help you along your journey. We have several forms of online tutoring available for free to our students. These include the Math Spa, Smart Thinking, and the Writing Center. The Math Spa, Smart Thinking are both provide assistance with math. They're a little bit different. The Smart Thinking is available 24/7. It can be accessed from your Canvas, and you can have drop-in or make appointments. The Math Spa is available for additional support, and that's by appointment. The Writing Center is really neat. It provides resources and assistance with writing assignments, so you're actually able to submit different writing assignments, and they will provide you with tips and things that they feel like you can change in that writing assignment to make it better. So really helpful. And again, if you don't remember all of this, lean on your success coach. If you're having trouble with math or writing and you don't remember how to get in touch with the Writing Center or the Math Spa, give us a call and we'll get you over to them. Next, we also have a Center for Health and Well-Being. This helps you manage your physical, mental, and emotional needs. They have both a clinic and counseling services set up. So the clinic is available for all of our students, and the counseling services help with things like different changes you might go through becoming a student. They've got both group counseling and individual counseling available to you. And lastly, I wanted to let you know, one of my favorite resources is our career services. I absolutely love this resource, and I encourage all students to take advantage of it. Career Services offers assistance with things like career planning, choosing a major, planning for graduate school. And they also offer resume critiques, mock interviews, and interview preparation. So if you have a big interview coming up, I know updating a resume is never something that's fun. They can help you with formatting and things like that, and even give you tips and tricks for your interview. They've got a whole bunch of things that they do over there, even some good job search tools. So I highly encourage you to reach out to Crystal if you want additional support with that.
All right, and so before we transition to our live Q&A section, just a quick reminder of an important date coming up. That's the next start date for online classes for Brenau. That's on October 19th. And so in addition to whatever questions that you have here, we'd love to talk more about your specific situation. Give us a call at 888-266-3785 or send us an email, success@ags.brenau.edu. We're going to put those that phone number and that email address in the chat, as well as you can see that the financial aid information is already there, and we're going to put some of this other stuff in the chat as we go. If you weren't with us for the beginning, that's perfectly fine. Click on the Q&A icon on your screen, and you can submit a question about anything that you saw in the presentation. We've already gotten some questions, and so this is the point where I welcome back Shay and Amanda, who are joining us live for this Q&A. Ladies, great to have you here with us, and I'm just going to get right into it. Shay, this first question I'm going to send your way. You talked about the Transcript Specialist, and it was really focused on transcripts and credits from prior colleges and universities. I've got a question from Mary that says, do you consider life and work experience? So what insights can you give us about credit from non-college and university sources and how they could apply towards someone's degree at Brenau?
Yeah, absolutely. So that would be considered a prior life experience, or a PLA. And we do accept PLA for courses in your general ed department. So if you're looking at electives, if you're looking at maybe a gen ed or two, and you've got some experience in that area, yes, we can definitely take a look at that and get you squared away with it. Absolutely.
All right, that sounds great. Thanks, Shay. Amanda, I'm going to these questions kind of go together, and so I'm going to send them your way. We talked about the start date in October. Seen some questions about how long do classes last, and are there breaks if I've got kids trying to learn from home, or I've got the holidays, or I've got important things coming up, and people are looking to plan their schedule a little bit better. What advice would you give in terms of how long do classes last, and are there breaks? How can people take a break?
Those are great questions, especially with the holidays coming up, going into October. Please know we do have a long break over the holidays. So you will have about a month off always in between December and January. Classes are going to be between 7 and 14 weeks. A vast majority of the classes are 7 weeks. I would say probably 80 to 90% of them are 7 weeks. We do have some 14-week classes, and those are going to be typically English or math classes, some of the classes that just seem to have a better format when they're spaced out over 14 weeks. And those are going to be typically in the undergrad program. So mostly you'll plan on taking 7-week courses with possibility of 14-week courses filtered in there. And yes, we do have breaks. Almost every session has a 1-week break in between at least. Some of them have 2 to 4 weeks in between, especially during the holidays.
Okay, awesome. That's great. Thanks, Amanda, for that. Shay, I'm going to send this next question your way. You mentioned about financial aid and things that are happening there. I'm sure you get this question a lot. How's financial aid changed with COVID-19? Any pandemic-specific impacts on financial aid that people need to be aware of?
No. Financial aid is running and operating just like it has previously. There's a slight perk if you do have student loans previously. Yours might have automatically gone into deferment, but there's some, it depends on who owned your loan and if the government had it and where it's at. So there are some ebbs and flows with that. But as far as qualifying for financial aid or applying for financial aid, it's all the same. And we always recommend that you apply early, but that you also apply with your coaches so that they're aware of what to look for and help you look at the bigger picture. What loan limits do you have and where are you at and if you're getting Pell, that type of thing. So we're here to help you with that, but absolutely, please apply and it's all up and running.
All right, that's great. Thanks, Shay. Amanda, this next question is for you. I obviously you're a success coach manager. You explained the role of a success coach. You also talked about the role of an academic advisor. And so just any more insight that you can give in terms of what does a faculty advisor do versus what does a success coach do? It seems like there could be some overlap between those roles. How would you answer that?
Yeah, and that's a question we get a lot, actually. So a faculty advisor is going to be a member of our faculty that is going to be that has a lot of experience in your area of study and will be more well versed on what you're studying. So if you have questions about course content or what courses to take next, a lot of times faculty advisors are going to be the better person to reach out to on that. With success coaches, I like to call us kind of like a jack of all trades, so to speak. We know a lot about different areas of the university, and if we can't get the answer for you, we can usually point you in the right direction. So by all means, if you're not sure who the proper person is to call, feel free to reach out to your success coach and we'll get you to the right place.
All right, that's great. Thanks, Amanda. Shay, I'm going to kick this next one back to you. Obviously, for these being online programs, especially people who are new to online learning, they're curious about tech support. What sorts of things, if I need help trying to access an assignment or there's some sort of tech issue that I'm having, what insight can you give us in terms of the type of tech support and similar things that are available for Brenau online students?
Yeah, we actually have I joke and I say we've got a tech support for everything. We really do. We've got a tech support for everything. If you're needing assistance with your application or your classroom, we have very specific tech support for your Canvas and your course rooms. We even have some support for your cell phone if you're downloading the app and you need some assistance there. So we do. We have a lot of assistance and we can point you in the right direction depending on what your technical issue is. What I always recommend is that you get in touch with your success coach or your enrollment coach, and you're welcome to troubleshoot it with them first. And then if that's not working, we can get you in contact with the right department.
All right, sounds great. We've got time for a couple more questions. So if you haven't already, please utilize that Q&A function on your screen. We want to make sure that we get everybody's questions answered. And so we've got time for a couple more. Amanda, this next one is for you. Again, talking about the success coach. I see a question that says, is a success coach going to know my grades? How do they help me if things get overwhelming? It's kind of a two-parter there about your role as a success coach. What information do you have access to? How do you use that information to help people out?
So I kind of like to equate us to basically like a personal trainer, but for school, where we're here to kind of train you and encourage you and even push you throughout your time here to help you be successful. So sometimes that means having conversations about grades. Sometimes we can see your grades, sometimes we can't. It depends on the class. But by all means, we're always happy to talk about grades with students and ways to improve them, the different resources we have. That's what we're here for, is to help you reach your educational goals, much like a personal trainer would be for your fitness goals.
Okay, that's great. I like that analogy. That's great. All right, I think we've got time for about one more question, and Shay, I'm going to send this one your way. Going back to transcripts, that was the kind of first question that we had, and now we're going to come full circle with this last one. Like you said, someone like you goes to a lot of different institutions. They've got a lot of potential transcripts that are out there. Seeing questions about, is there a cap on transcript fees? Did I have to take the classes, a certain time or in a certain format or modality in order for those credits to count? Any further insights you can give in as it relates to transcripts and anything more about that?
Yeah, absolutely. It always depends on what you took, where you went, and what your grades are. So it depends. If you were in a technical program, maybe coming back for computer science, some of those courses you took in, 20 years ago may not be relevant anymore. And we may require some additional coursework, right, for that. But a lot of times when you're looking at transferring, you're trying to suffice your general education and your elective courses. And that's what we're looking for. So we try to do a really good job at taking those credits in, no matter when you took them and where you took. But if you're nationally accredited versus regionally accredited, that could play an impact. And it can play an impact if they're 20 years old or 10. So really the moral of the story is don't procrastinate. Don't procrastinate going back to school. If you have transfer credits, the best thing you can do is get them evaluated, look to move forward, set a goal for yourself, and get your degree accomplished. Because yes, the longer you wait, it can be a little bit harder to transfer in credits.
Okay. And so that's a great segue. One last time into our finale here today. And so again, next start date is October 19th. Like Shay said, don't wait. Now's a great time to get ahead. You can start on your goal for 2021 while it's still 2020 by starting classes in October. When it comes to transcripts, financial aid, anything else about your specific situation, let's talk. Give us a call, 888-266-3785. Send us an email, success@ags.brenau.edu. And you get in touch with Shay and Amanda and other folks on the team who are there to assist you, answer your particular questions, and help you take that step toward a Brenau degree. So one last time, Shay, Amanda, thank you for your time, for your insight and expertise today. And thanks to all of you out there for attending, for your questions, and for the privilege of your time. Please stay safe. Have a great rest of your day and week. Take care, everybody.